I know this is blasphemous to say to many of you, because when you think of the greatest 6 men of all time, the player that gets brought up the most is Manu Ginobli and sometimes Kevin Mchale, everywhere amongst NBA fans, and I'm sorry to say this. I know they've done a lot in their careers, but I'm here to shoot all of that down, because I'll be showing you why Lou Williams is already the greatest 6 man of all time in a few seconds, so stay tuned for that. But before I get deeper into the video, I'd like to shout out Kenny Powers Gaming and Gabe's here. Thanks for the support, I really appreciate it. And for the other people that didn't get shout out requests that wanted one, I'll shout you out in future videos, because I'll only be doing 2 shout outs per video because I'm getting so many shout out requests. Also, if you want a shout out in future videos, let me know in the comment section below. But with all that being said, if you are new to my channel and not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, because I drop basketball videos and I cover different topics of the NBA. And don't forget to hit the notification button to get notified whenever I drop a video if you haven't already. And like I always say, once again, it's 3rd IV195 coming at you with another video. Stay tuned.
Ay, sell it for free. Put no prices on that body, sell it for free. Ay, sell it for free. Girl, you know that body prices, sell it for free.
So in my previous video, I talked about the NBA records and franchise records that Lou Williams has broken as a 6 man throughout his NBA career. Let's go back and see what I said. Here are the spectacular things that Lou Will has done as a 6 man in his NBA career so far. He's the first person to win the 6 man of the year award in Raptors franchise history, and the first to win the 6 man of the year award playing for a team outside of America in NBA history. Take a look. Also, from December the 3rd, 2016, all the way to the 9th, Lou Williams scored 137 points in total in 4 games, making him the first reserve in NBA history to score this much points in 4 games since the NBA started keeping track of starts in 1970. Last year, on January the 20th, 2018, he scored 31 points and had 10 steals, which was a franchise record for the Clippers, and he had 7 assists along with 2 rebounds. But unfortunately, the Clippers would go on to lose to the Utah Jazz 110 125 to 113. By doing this, Lou Williams became the first player in NBA history to score 31 points and have 10 steals along with 7 assists in a game since steals became a stat that was recorded in the NBA. Earlier this past season, on February the 13th, Lou scored 30 points and dished out 10 assists in 22 minutes, and the Clippers would go on to beat the Phoenix Suns 134 to 107. By doing this, Lou became the first player in NBA history to score 30 points and dish out 10 assists in less than 23 minutes. Days later, on March the 8th, Lou scored 40 points and the Clippers would go on to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 118 to 110. And by doing this, Lou ended up passing Jamal Crawford, who was second on the all-time NBA coming off of the bench scoring list. At that specific time, it was the 28th time that he scored 30 points or more in his career coming off of the bench, which made him surpass Ricky Pierce's record of scoring 30 or more points coming off of the bench in NBA history. On March the 11th, Lou became the NBA's leader in points coming off of the bench in NBA history after he scored 34 points in a win over the Boston Celtics 140 to 115 coming off of the bench. He surpassed Del Curry, who previously held the NBA scoring off of the bench record with a total of 11,147 points. Lou Williams was also the biggest reason why the LA Clippers came back from a 31-point deficit to beat the Golden State Warriors in Game 2 in the NBA playoffs back on April the 15th earlier this year, which was the biggest comeback in NBA playoff history after he scored 36 points and dished out 11 assists. After this win, the Clippers would end up tying the series 1-1 after that huge comeback, and the final score for that game was 135 to 131. The Clippers, who were underdogs, fought hard with the Golden State Warriors that series in the first round, but unfortunately the Clippers would go on to lose that series against Golden State 4-2. The clip in my previous video, it was what he's done offensively. I know offense isn't everything, so I decided to dig and I did some research to see what all the 36 Men award winners over the last 36 years have done defensively, because I know some of you are going to try to bring up defense as a counter to my argument. So this is how it's going to work. If a player was chosen to be on an all-defensive team during their career that has won a 6th Man of the Year award, I'll only count them being chosen to be on a defensive team if they did it while their role for a team was being a 6th man, not before or after their 6th man role, because it wouldn't be fair to do it otherwise, because things can change. For example, Bill Walton went from being a superstar to a 6th man because he was an NBA champion, a finals MVP, an NBA All-Star, the NBA's rebounding leader and blocks leader in 1977. Then for the 1977-78 season, Bill Walton was the MVP award winner despite only playing 58 games and missing 24 games for that season because he would end up breaking his leg. He was a legit superstar before injuries. Over time, he would continue to suffer injuries as he was getting older, as you can see his season by season stats, so his role in the NBA was reduced, which is why he went from being a superstar to a 6th man. This is my point. If you look, you'll notice that he was selected to be on the NBA All-Defensive First Team twice in 1977 and in 1978. So he did this while he was a superstar, not a 6th man. And as you can see, he won his one and only 6th Man of the Year award years later in 1986 after being a superstar at one point in his career. Bill Walton wasn't selected to be on an NBA All-Defensive Team while he was a 6th man. He did it while he was a superstar. So that's my point. Being selected to an All-Defensive Team only counts, like I said before, if you were selected while you were a 6th man for a team, not before or after your 6th man role, because that argument wouldn't be fair if you have a counter argument against Lou Williams being the greatest 6th man of all time. If you want to bring up defense, the only 2 players on this list that has been selected on an NBA All-Defensive Team while having a 6th man role is Bobby Jones and Kevin Mchale. No disrespect to him, but Bobby Jones is not a player that comes to mind when you think of the greatest 6th men of all time. So let's just focus on Manu Ginobli and Kevin Mchale. Now, the 2 players that most people refer to either of them as being the greatest 6th man of all time ever, but mostly Manu Ginobli. In Kevin Mchale's case, you'll probably try to use the fact that he won rings and was selected to be on multiple defensive teams and was an All-NBA First Team selectee and was an All-Star multiple times, and that Lou Williams doesn't have those things, so he's not a greater 6th man than Kevin was. But here's the thing, you can't forget about all the NBA records and franchise records that Lou Williams Williams has set as a sixth man, and he won more sixth man of the year awards than Kevin Mchale has. The only things that Kevin Mchale has over Lou is all-star selections, rings, and defensive team selections, and that he's a one-time All-NBA first team selectee. But in the near future, I believe that Lou Williams will have a ring or rings because of the additions of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard going to the LA Clippers this offseason. So Lou's basketball resume would even look better than it is right now because there's more accomplishments to add on to it in the future with him winning a ring or rings. And if he does win a ring or rings, it will help people like myself that are taking the side of saying that he's the greatest sixth man of all time. So when Lou Williams' career is all said and done, I believe he'll be a Hall of Famer, a guy that had set multiple NBA sixth man records and franchise records as a sixth man, with multiple sixth man of the year awards that revolutionized the sixth man role with a ring or rings. I really don't believe he'll be an all-star like I talked about in my previous video due to his age now, because we all know with age you start to decline physically, so the chances of him becoming an all-star is out the window. So in the end, I believe Lou will have more accomplishments as a sixth man than Kevin Mchale has ever had in his career. I believe that Lou is the greatest sixth man of all time now, even if he doesn't win a ring. In Manu Ginobli's case, I can say the same thing that I said about Lou Williams compared to Kevin Mchale, and this argument against Manu Ginobli is an even easier argument than Lou Williams compared to Kevin Mchale, because Kevin Mchale is a more accomplished sixth man than Manu Ginobli. Take a look. Using the ring argument is weak to me because basketball is a team sport. It's not an individual sport, and some players are just drafted into a great situation like Kevin Mchale. He won a ring in his rookie season, and with Manu Ginobili, it's the same thing as well. He won a ring in his rookie season. Or a player gets traded to a great situation like Marc Gasol during the trade deadline earlier this year, and he ends up winning a ring the same season with the new team that he was traded to. And of course, some players win rings the weak way like Kevin Durant, joining a team that beat you, but obviously we all know that joining a team and winning a ring that way doesn't count. I believe that Lou Williams will be a champion really soon, if not next season, then sometime in the next decade. So if you try to use the ring argument against him, it won't work in the near future. And the ring argument is just silly to me, because if that's the basis of your basketball arguments, if you are a person that goes by this logic, then Bill Russell is the greatest player of all time, because he won the most rings in NBA history, which we all know that Bill Russell being the greatest player of all time is further from the truth. No disrespect to him, but you can't use the ring argument to try and prove how much greater someone else is, because like I said before, some players end up in good situations and others don't. But with all that being said, that's my proof that Lou Williams is the greatest sixth man of all time. But that's it for the video, guys, and like I always say, please like and subscribe and hit that notification button and comment below. Tell me what you think. Your opinion matters, and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram account. It's the same name as my YouTube channel name, and share this video. Peace!
I eat my French toast, bag of French girl, tell her let's go. Watch me explode like I'm Mentos mixed with that coke. Moving like a groupie, so I back up pronto. Though you a baddie, I'm gonna split my Uber, go get you a text.